Something that you do, but you don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Dancing with the universe. Dancing with the Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your dancing with the universe? Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe. Can you feel it? This is something real. You have the universe to dancing with the universe.
I wished upon a star last night and thought of you, but it must have been a dream, 'cause you're not here. I've never been one to believe in fairy tales or fantasy, but perhaps it's time for a change of mind. I guess there's a first for everything. Oh, we fell in love, we had our fun. You always had enough dreams for both of us. I wonder what would come of us if we could trade these ends for beginnings. I'm drinking from an empty cup. The hardest part of young love is growing up. It's not enough to fill me up, 'cause now there's one less star in the city. Now there's one less star in the city. Now there's one less star in the city. I saw shooting star last night and thought of you. But it must have been a dream, 'cause you're not here. Had enough dreams for both of us. I wonder what will come of us. 'Cause now there's one less star in the city. We fell in love, we had a fun. You always had enough dreams for both of us. Wonder what would come of us if we could trade these ends for beginnings. I'm drinking from an empty cup. The hardest part of young love was growing up. It's not enough to fill me up, 'cause now there's one less star in the city. I can't keep living without you, but I'll wait and someday join you in the stars. But for now I can't keep thinking about you, 'cause I can't find my way. 'Cause now there's one less star in the city. I can't keep living without you, but I'll wait and someday join you in the stars.
Good evening, everybody. I hope that you all had an absolutely amazing day. Sad thing is, we start with my favorite song, so I'm not going to get to sing it. However, there's a different version of the song on the playlist. So I hope that everybody's has been having a fantastic day. Mystical Unicorn, how are you doing? Mario, how are you doing? Don't forget to use the discount code if you buy something from Envy Gaming. That's how they track. That's how they track my stuff, basically. So use the 10% discount code, please. All right. So I hope that everybody's doing absolutely fantastic, because I sure am. And tonight we are going to be continuing working on the Psyker that we've been working on last stream. So I did work on the Power Sword in between stream there. The video of how I did the Power Sword is actually on Patreon. So I'm super good, Mystical. How are you doing? BFD HUD, how are you doing? By the way, BFD HUD, super nice streamer. If you want to discover someone, Captain Flashheart, just subscribe. Gosh, we start with a very strong night tonight. Captain Flashheart, thanks a lot for that subscription. Can we get some hype in the stream? Captain Flashheart, there was an alert on my stream earlier that there was some giveaways tonight. This is an error on my part. There is no giveaway tonight. That was last Wednesday. So I am super sorry about that. I was giving a paint lesson right before I came live, so I missed a beat there, and I did not deactivate the alert there. Thanks a lot for the good word, man. So yeah, the video of how I painted the sword is on Patreon, and I started painting my first bust. So the cool thing you have to, when you're looking at that piece, is right now the lighting on this thing is actually flat. So the shadows that you're seeing on this side of the face are actually painted. Like, sounds good, Captain Flashheart. I am super happy to hear that. So if I'm flipping the mini from one side to the other, like the mini is meant to be looked at from the front, not from the side. And then you see that all the shadows are actually painted in. So yeah, that is also dropping on the Patreon probably Thursday night. This is what I promised to my patrons. So so that's going to be Thursday night. So Captain Flashheart, what are you working on? So on our side here, we're going to be working on the Jedi robe, basically, because I was not able to finish it on last stream because there was too much going on. So this is what I'm going for tonight. And Captain Flashheart, by the way, when you hit the subscribe button, it does not auto follow. So if you haven't hit the follow button yet, hit that follow button because we're at like 18. Oh, the counter down there is actually wrong. Let me remove this. This is ugly. We don't want that. We don't want that. This is wrong. The number is not good. Okay, things are fixed. We are actually at 18 followers from the follow goal. That allows us to get Creature Caster sponsorship. So, all right. We were working with a mix of dark umber and light umber. Let's get back in our good habits. Put that on the palette. And what I was seeing is BFD HUD here is also a streamer. Super nice stream. He's just starting out, I think. Drop by his stream and give him a follow. He's doing some amazing stuff. I had a good time hanging out there with him yesterday, I think. So, have a look at his stuff. And also, Mystical Unicorn here in the stream right now has a giveaway going on Instagram. So, Mystical Unicorn, if you want to drop your Instagram link in there, please feel free to do so. Alright, so loading that color on the palette. Going to do the mix right now. Is that the other version of my song? Or am I mistaken? I think this is the other version of my song. Oh, that would be so funny. No, it's not. It's not. It's still in the bank. Oh man, supporting each other is actually super important, man. Getting visibility on Twitch is extremely hard if you don't get help. I got a lot of help and I still get a lot of help. So I am trying to give back what I got. Because believe me, you would not be looking at me right now if it was not for the help that I got when I was just starting that stream. Help from the community on Twitch is of the utmost importance. Alright, so I got my mix there. Now the sad thing is this is probably not quite what the mix was. Sounds good, Captain Flashheart. I'm sorry, I don't see your name super often. And I have very bad memory for a name, so I'm sorry if you've been following for a while. Alright, so the mix is done. Cleaning the brush for a second here. Corba FR, how are you doing? And Captain Flashheart, what are you painting right now? Alright, so I'm getting... we're going to be playing around with Monument. Okay, let's go big. Number 2. Bombwick number 2. This yesterday I painted everything with number 3, so that was kind of special. It's a pretty big brush. All right, so number 3. Thanks a lot, Corba. New Zealand. All right, well, nice to see you here, man. Just before lunch? Oh gosh, just before lunch. Good lord. So you are tomorrow right now for us. Got some issues with my brush here. Going to get this fixed. Oh gosh, I'm starting with a mistake on my part here. Let me get that thing out. Light the way, man. How are you doing? Well, Captain Flashheart, I hope you have a good Tuesday so far. It's always funny. I find it's absolutely amazing when people in different time zone drop in the stream. It's I always am super surprised when I see that. By the way, I'm pretty good. How are you? How is the Scorpion going? So I was giving a private class to Light the Way right before I came live here. Okay, I'm trying to stay gentle with the paint. I will have to fix a mistake that I did there. Hopefully it's not going to destroy the mini. Still getting used to these brushes. The bristles are longer than on the brush that I'm used to use. So it does play tricks with my mind. Mind tricks while painting a Jedi. BF Dodd, this is Monument Bombwick Igniter's brush. They are Polinsky Sable brushes from a Canadian and American company, which is amazing. Core by far, man. Thanks a lot for that subscription. Can I get some, let's call it beaver in the stream for Corba here? Much appreciated, man. Thank you. So yeah, they are Kolinsky Sable, but they're actually affordable. So that's great. Like they're nowhere near the price of Winsor Newtons, because I would not afford Winsor Newton brush. It's just too expensive. Alright, so I'm going with the darker color for a second there. I'm going to fix a mistake that I did right here. This should not be bright. This should stay dark. Alright, not too bad. Yeah, I've done. Could get you those beavers, because it's important. Thanks a lot for that, Saw Man. Much appreciated. Alright, going back to the slightly lighter color. Okay, maybe this was a bit of a large brush. This is a bit large for what I'm doing. It appears that I have. It appears that I'm feeling brave. Just fine. Still going to continue with that. So M.Ariu, what are you working on these days? Oh, that thing is unglued. This is why it's not going nice. The model is moving in the cork, which is never a good thing, because you kind of expect the cork to be sturdy, and it's not. So that's always a bit of an issue when it happens. Okay, alright, I think I'm going to get a bit of blue tack on there. Got the... Yeah, okay, so you got the blue brushes there? Yeah, they're super nice. I'm going to put a little bit of blue tack at the bottom of that guy, just to prevent him from slipping, because once I start on a model, I don't tend to go back to super glue. Hopefully this is going to make it a little bit more stable. Well, Mystical, you're not going to regret these brush. They are absolutely amazing. I actually think that they came out with a bit of an expansion set for the brush set, where they have more like larger size brush for these blue handle brush. I saw at least 1 or 2 person with these. I haven't had a look at these like myself, but they are on my want to have a look at list. Okay. Bigger ones. Oh, okay, yeah. You're going to enjoy that. You are going to like them. It's like the blue handles, like the base detail kit. My only complaint about them was I need some bigger brush. And they actually came out with bigger brushes now, so this is absolutely fantastic. As much as the miniature painting community tend to love small brush, reality is you do need the bigger brush. So that was my only complaint about this set. I would have wanted some large brush in there. So yeah, but if you have that, you're pretty much in business there. I'm going to let that dry. The issue I'm faced with right now is the shade of brown that I'm using right now is not quite the same as what I was using last week. So there's going to be some slight color shift. It's not the end of the world, because like this is like if this was a metal panel, it'd be pretty bad. But it's not. So it's not the end of the world. Like this is very recoverable. But it means a little bit of a funky feeling while painting, right? Because it's not quite the same. It looks very close, but neither my dilution nor the actual color are the same, which makes it feel strange. Yeah, I'm going to just glaze this here a little bit to bring the color together. This is also the side that is actually exposed to light, so it's alright to have this slightly brighter. Alright, I'm going to let that be for now. Hey, Lost Torpedo! How are you doing? So light. Yeah. Big brushes are the like we have a love-hate relationship with bigger brushes. Miniature painting community likes the small brush, but reality is if you have a good big brush, it tends to be better than a shitty small brush. How are you doing tonight, Lost Torpedoes? Still working on our Jedi. Still alive? Okay. I guess it's I guess it means you're doing great. Laying in bed, doing nothing. Isn't that the best part of the day? I know, I like that. Oh yeah. So, who has seen the Ever Chosen thing that Games Workshop is putting together right now? And more importantly, who plans on taking part in it? That's a real question. Who's doing the Ever Chosen? For some reason, the webcam keeps moving tonight. Keep bumping in the webcam with my head. Mystical Unicorn? Yeah? I am planning on entering. My store is going to... Oh, well, is your store a Games Workshop store? Alright, Lost Torpedo, you need to have a look at the Games Workshop community website. They've announced that thing yesterday, I think. It's a global paint competition that has a bit of a Golden Demon feeling, in the sense that the grand prize for it is actually a Slayer sword, just like in the Golden Demons. So it should be pretty interesting. Oh, Mystical. Okay. I think it's not exclusive to Games Workshop store. Like, you probably want to check with your local store owner, because the Games Workshop post that they did actually talked about like non-Games Workshop store doing it. So it might not just be a G-Dub thing, but I'm not sure. The other thing, you can also come up to Ottawa. We have a Games Workshop store here. 2 hours away? Gosh. Hey, Paint After Dark, how are you doing? Sounds good. Yeah, 2 hours away is a long drive for a store. But it's a pretty cool paint competition, though. I mean, by the look of it, it's going to be very nice. Going in Georgia. Oops. Yeah. It would be a bit of a drive. Saturday 27th. Warhammer and Games Workshop store. Okay. Some independent. Yeah, so there might be some independent there.
We had a rough start, but I guess that my heart couldn't sway her.
Oh, Mystical Unicorn, that might be your luck. Yeah, I'm guessing if there's no Games Workshop store in your area, that some independent store are going to be part of the paint competition. That would be logical. Alright, let's hope this dries nicely, because right now it looks a little bit funky. Alright. I kind of want to highlight here as well. My paint is feeling a little bit strange tonight. Don't know if it's the brush or my dilution. Something feels strange.
No, we don't talk, but it hasn't quite stopped me from dreaming.
Yeah, this is going to dry nicely.
Didn't get far, but I'm still hanging on to the feeling. For a moment I was special, but I should have known better than to fall in love.
Yeah, that should be good.
Questions, but I've learned my lesson.
You should definitely give it a try, man.
Oh, is that enough?
Definitely you should. Alright, let's try to bring this a little bit towards this area. Okay, I don't want to overwork this thing here. I feel this is not going to be super solid, the coat. I have to be careful there. Bring this one down. A question for the stream there. How strong do we want to go on the highlights on this Jedi guy? Win in my store? Not hard, but gladly I don't have a chance. Globally? Yeah, I mean, Lost Torpedoes, globally, I don't think anybody stands a chance. Like, you have to put some important things in perspective there. That Slayer sword that they're going to give is a global Slayer sword, right? So it's the whole world competing for it. And the typical Golden Demon guys are going to try to have a go at that thing. Because that Slayer sword, since it's for the whole world, is actually going to be harder to get, or I'm guessing will possibly be harder to get than an actual Slayer sword that they're giving in their normal event. Because normal events, say Adepticon next year, it's US Golden Demon, right? Now Adepticon is a little bit big, so maybe it does not compare. But there's going to be more entry in this competition globally than what a single Golden Demon gets as far as entry is concerned, right? Mystical Unicorn, not too much on the highlights. I think this might be a good word of wisdom. I think you're right. If I go too strong on these highlights, I'm risking losing the model. I was kind of feeling the same way. I'm going to push these a little bit more, but I'm not going to make these too strong.
Didn't think that I'd uncover another world that's undiscovered.
All right. Now, just for the record, we are still 18 followers away from the 500 follower goal. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Okay. Finally getting paint on Scorpion. Yeah. By the way, are you doing the trim tonight? Okay, so I'm going to switch to pure light umber. I'm also going to switch brush. I'm going with something a lot smaller. This is going to be Monument Bonwick 0. Need a small brush here. Totally entering the painting competition in July. I sure hope so. And given the fact that I'm giving you a private paint class, no pressure, man, but you better win your store. One panel done already. Oh, that's good, man. That's good. I definitely want to see this on the work in progress. Alright, I'm diluting some paint here. Not going to go like super crazy on highlights here, but I am going to put some brighter highlights on some elements of the robe. This is relatively diluted paint. It's not like crazy watery, but should still dry relatively transparent. And we should still get that feeling for a nice highlight going. Yeah, it's pretty transparent. Should be good. Just bring some more contrast in there. Now don't get, oh, the camera is pretty dark. I'm going to bring this a little bit brighter. Okay, sorry for that. This is probably going to be better for you guys. Oh, no, I just fucked up my screen. Hopefully this comes back. Okay, good, we're good. Sounds good. Yeah, you better win your store.
Shades of blue colors, neon skies, you feel it, closer to danger.
So I'm choosing my spots for highlights very carefully here, because I don't want to do the full thing. Like, the whole thing does not need highlights, but some areas can definitely use it. I'm being extra careful in how I'm placing them. This will dry nicely, this is not a problem. Maybe a little bit of a touch here, right on this area here. Need to damp my brush a little bit. That paint was a little bit too present on the brush here. Alright, I should be able to recover from that nicely. Yeah, that will dry nicely. So it just brings some more definition to the cape. And it's very subtle, but it it simply makes the thing a little bit more enjoyable to look at. The difference is very, very, very subtle, but it's there. A little bit on the back here. Let dry and see how it dries. The back can use a little bit more. Not a lot, but a little bit. Yep, that works pretty nicely actually. Pretty happy with that. Work a little bit on the other side. I'm going to bring the side here back down a little bit using the original dark umber color. There's one brush stroke here that was a little bit too strong. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Alright. This should dry nicely. It should bring it back to what it was. So it should be good. Alright. I'm remixing a little bit more of that light umber. I want a color that is slightly thicker here. We're going to work on here. Sometimes you want a thick color. This is one of these cases. Like edge highlight tend to be nicer with thicker paint. That simple. All right. By the way, I actually bought my tickets for Sword and Brush in September. Sword and Brush is pretty much the biggest Canadian paint competition. So I will be taking part in that one. Oh, that looks pretty good. What's you guys feeling on this? I think that works. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry about that. That was out of my control. To grab the mini on the other side, it's going to be better. I want to build up towards the main body of the miniature, not towards the exterior part. This tip is splitting on my brush here. There's some highlight spots. Not all over the place. Some key spots only. Okay, hopefully this dries nicely. Alright. That's not too bad. Actually, this is pretty good. Mystical Unicorn, what are you painting right now? Okay, this should be good here. Going to blend it in with a bit of the previous color though. Some of these are a little bit rough. That guy here, bringing the previous color. Smooth out the highlight a little bit. This side here as well. Alright, this should be good. Dragon, that's fine. Don't be sorry. That's perfectly fine. I think everybody's painting right now. Light the Way is probably working on his brass scorpion. He's doing a whole bunch of airbrush at the moment, so I'd be very surprised if he is able to hold his cell phone to chat, which is super fun. I think everybody's painting at the moment, which is great. Okay, I might not be in the mood for that specific song. I'm going to switch it. That one's a little bit dark for me tonight. Finishing up the horns, that's good. Okay, I'm switching that song. That's a little bit too depressive for my personal taste tonight. Alright, that's going to be much better. Alright, let's continue. Alright, cleaning the brush. Sounds good. Whip will be at 8:30 as usual. Speaking of which what time is it? 7:44, gosh, time goes by fast. There's a couple of great pictures, I think, on the whip tonight. Your dragon, Light the Way Scorpion is also going to be glorious. He's doing an absolutely amazing color scheme on that thing. He's doing kind of a sunburst thing, like it's inspired by a guitar, and yeah, it's going to be great looking. I think we're going to have an excellent whip session tonight. Alright, trying to be smooth on these highlights. This is a cape, we don't want too strong highlights. Although I do need the highlights to show. Yeah, I have a stray hair in that brush that I will need to cut, and this is why my brush tip is splitting. There's a stray hair there. Yeah, this guy. These two guys right there. Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to fix the brush, because a brush with the tip that splits is absolutely impossible to work with. So I'm going to fix the brush. There's two hair here. Have to go. Oh. Where are they? Rest of the how'd the rest of your ShadowSpear work go? I did some of the okay, that brush is going to stay like that until later. So I did some of well, I basically did a whole bunch of highlights on the Marines. It's getting there. It's getting there. But I'm glad that I took the job, because I took it at a moment where I had no sponsors and anything, and I was like, okay, cool, this is going to help with like giveaways and stuff like that for the channel. But now that I have the sponsors to help out with the giveaways, I'm a little bit not unhappy, but like I'm sad that the commission takes up time from everything else, because I don't feel like the commission stuff is super interesting for stream use. So I don't work on that, like, except for that model here that I have in my hand. I don't work on that on the stream. And also there's paint competitions coming up and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a little bit, yeah, that brush is unusable right now. I'm going to set it aside. There's one hair in there that go like across the bundle, and that makes the brush basically useless. So I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to move on to the blue handle one, 00. That should be good. Yeah, that will definitely be good. Yep, that's fine. This is my guy. So yeah, I did actually I can show you that stuff later in the work in progress. It's a tabletop quality paint job that I pimped up a little bit. I just like tabletop quality is just not my thing. I don't enjoy painting tabletop model too much. So yeah. Okay, this is getting there here. Now, how was the rest of your stream, man? I saw the pictures of your model on Instagram. look pretty good. Okay, need to get at least a little bit of a highlight going here. Doesn't need to be strong. It needs to be there. Yeah, that's good enough. Now we're talking. A good brush is always a good thing. Like, it's not because you buy good quality brush that, like, off the package, the brush is going to be ready to work. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of prep on the brush, and you still need to cut some hair. Like, that's what's happening with my other brush there. But once that is done, the brush is going to be perfectly fine. Sitting in front of you, help put off paint more. Yep, I get that. That's also how I feel when I'm watching someone else stream. Like, since I actually started streaming, I watch other people stream like less and less because I'm running out of time, because like you kind of have to work on what you're painting in between streams, otherwise, because like people don't enjoy seeing the same thing over and over and over again. So yeah, I get that feeling. Okay, this brush is super like there's some paint buildup there. I guess I haven't cleaned it properly from yesterday, so I'm going to give it a bit of a clean right now. Notice that I'm not currently using the master cleaner. The master cleaner was what I used yesterday to clean it, and that didn't went too well apparently. So I'm using the Monument cleaner, the Gentastic stuff. And to do that clean, you actually put the soap in your hand and you're working the brush in your hand like that. So their soap is actually more gentle than the master, but it helps restore the brush and the tip of your brush a lot more than the master, because technically you're supposed to leave the soap right on your brush when you're done cleaning. Alright, let's give this guy that. So it helps with brushes. This one has not came back quite nicely. This is not the brush problem, this is my problem. I painted some metallics yesterday with that brush, and bottom line is use shitty brush for metallics because they destroy brushes. Alright, let's go back to it.
Everybody wants something they can't have, so they gon' put it on you. Wherever you go, yeah, you can take me there.
Here was a little bit strong, but it's workable. Can live with that. Alright. Hey, Tabletop Gamer! How are you doing, man? Nice to see you here. I am actually about to get in touch with you to get another order of these templates you did for me. How are you doing? Thanks a lot for these bits. And I think right now everybody is kind of painting, so I'm going to cheer for you myself. So if people are on their keyboards, can we get some hype for tabletopgamer.com here? And I'm going to give you some myself, just in case everybody's painting. Tabletop gamer. I do paint terrain from time to time. Why? It's like last week or the week before, when we did Typhus base, that was actually a piece of terrain. Like the base is a piece of terrain. So yeah, I do paint terrain from time to time. Hey Absent, how are you doing? Nice to see you here. We're having a nice to know you're doing great, man. We're having a bit of a silent night tonight. Everybody's painting, which is super funny. But Lido is working on his Brass Scorpion. Mystical Unicorn is working on a kick-ass creature caster dragon. Most of everybody's painting at the moment. Some new update, some 40k terrain building. You've redesigned. Oh man, absolutely. I'm good with that, Tabletop Gamer. That'd be a good deal. That'd be good. It's MDF terrain. Okay, cool. Tabletop Gamer, would you mind sending me 2 copies of that terrain? Because I'd like to do that, but the issue I have is sending built MDF terrain by the post might be a little bit expensive. But yeah, I can do that for you, no problem. We can talk the detail by email if you want as well. Software module for Vassal. Gosh, what is Vassal? Absent. Make your own. You need to make your own and paint like my base. It's a gaming sim. Okay, cool. Mystical Unicorn, I'm not sure I understand what you're telling me. Need to make your own and paint it like my base. Are you saying I need to have my own dragon? Sounds good. And everyone in the chat, if you don't know tabletopgamer.com, tabletopgamer.com is an online web store. They do a whole bunch of stuff, and they are also my partner in my gaming kit. So the template that I do give away and the objective marker are made by tabletopgamer.com, who's in the chat right there. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Thank you. And I think I'm switching to non-metallic metal gold right now, because I feel like the Jedi robe might actually be done. I'm going to do some of the stitches here. To make a base like I made for the pink model and paint it up. Oh, I want to see how I make a base. Oh gosh. Mystical Unicorn, I don't think I'm ever going to do a base live. Doing a base live for me involves a lot of swearing. Because like there's a reason why I'm using ready-made bases, and that's because I have a hard time with that. However, Mystical, I do have a video of how I did the base for the Imperial Knight on Patreon. I'm going to make that video public if you want to have a look. I'm going to make that after the stream, or if you can send me a reminder about that, and I'll do it. You're going to laugh at me because it's a 1 hour long video. It was for a base that I needed because I had a deadline to enter a paint competition. That one I ended up second, and yeah, funny time. I basically was swearing all the way through. Okay, so I loaded some mahogany. Whoever is responsible for the counter on the palette. I'm loading some golden yellow now. I'm going to use mahogany as a base color for non-metallic metal gold here. My palette is getting a little bit small. There's not a lot of place left there, so hopefully I can get something decent out of there. All right, let's go to Monument Bombwick #1. Light the way, thank you. Yeah, that count, absolutely. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit risky. The last non-metallic metal that I did, I thought was not deep quite enough. So I'm going to try to make this one deeper. So this is mahogany. And I might actually be currently screwing up the model. In which case I'm just going to start over. Right, non-metallic metal gold is something that I am still to master.
Breathe me into the light. Slowly heal the darkness in my heart. I hear you now.
So I'm using mahogany as a base color. And there's a lot more gold than what it looks like on that model. I'm not going to do the key gold. We're going to attempt at non-metallic copper on that. I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try it. However, the sword here, which is definitely going to be a challenge, is also getting the NMM gold treatment. Hey, so 65 or 67 is the global count, right? What is the count for tonight? Must be like 4 or something like that. Worst case, can always try true metallic metal over it. Yeah, Absent, you're right. Oh, Absent, by the way, I've got a whole bunch of models that I want painted, and I'm going to fork that off to a whole bunch of commissioned painters that I know, like Brent Tenbury Painting, who sometimes come over, is going to get some. The Gun-Tutting Elf, who sometimes come over, also is going to get some. So, Absent, I know you do commission, and Mystical Unicorn, I know you also do commission. If you guys want a piece of that, or are interested in getting a piece of that, let me know. It's not going to be 40k though. I'm not playing 40k anymore. I don't care about 40k models, except for those that I paint myself. But I have Fate. Oh, even more interested now that it's not 40k models. Oh no, it's not AOS. It's not AOS. It's bolt action. Booked currently. Well, mystical is going to be for a later time because I have a lot of them. It's going to come back around. No worries. Well, Absent, you know what? You don't necessarily have to practice these camos. Because not all uniforms in World War II add some camo pattern to them. Most actually did not. Also, these are going to be like large chunk because I don't want to have like multiple painting styles on these things. So whatever I'm sending someone is either going to be like single models, in which case like single model are not that hard to do for a commission painter, or they're going to be like full armies. So I knew more people who was playing AOS. We actually have a very healthy AOS community here in Ottawa. The more I'm thinking about that, like the more you should move to Ottawa. You'd be happier here. Very large painting community. And very large gaming community in general. Yeah, AOS is actually very much alive right now in this city. I wish bolt action was more alive. Alright, not too bad. Got to do the under pattern here. Oh gosh, I just washed my brush in the wrong pot. Let's have a catch up on the chat here. Good excuse to work on mine some. Really, Absent, you're playing bolt action? That's pretty cool. Thought of moving to Canada. Yeah, you should, man. You should. You have an absolutely beautiful country. Not that your country is not beautiful, your country is as beautiful. But, I mean, obviously I have some strong attached to my country here. Otherwise I would have a different name. I hope that you can see this on camera properly. Sometimes painting the under part of things, camera is not always easy. Okay, so commands bravery test. Catch up on the chat. This Hubs of Wargaming, really? That's interesting. because the numbers that I'm seeing on like Instagram and stuff like that, in the US, the two strongest place, to my knowledge, at least with the Instagram number that I'm seeing, the two strongest place are Texas and California. Alright, I'm mixing some mahogany along with some yellow here. Blitzkrieg Infantry and Command Squad and a Tiger. Ew! Tiger's a beautiful model. Alright, doing that mix off cam here. Should be good. I'm going to dilute this quite a bit. Yeah, that should be good. I think we're in for an interesting NMM experiment here. Come south. Mystical. I'm only my awareness of American geography is only very limited. How south are you? Oh yeah, that will work. You actually already see it coming. And you know what? That actually makes for an amazing bronze mix. But I'm going to push it to gold. It would be amazing for bronze, however. The sword is going to be tricky because it's a little bit the way the sword is made is a little bit strange. The sword definitely will be tricky to paint. So let it be known that non-metallic metal bronze or copper can be achieved in an interesting way with mahogany and yellow. They actually blend in a very interesting way. The ball here. Gosh, that thing currently looks like a bar of chocolate, which I could certainly eat one. Not that I need one. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting piece here. Gosh, I'm excited to paint that thing. Like the design like right on the blade is definitely super interesting. My song, my song, my song. Nope. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull off that part here. That the pattern on the sword is a little bit complicated. Let's catch up with the chat. On top of Florida. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you're down. Adapt to technology and painting. Steamy humidity would not mix. Nope. Let's See, moving colder but warm air. Yeah, by the way, I think everybody who lives in a colder climate kind of feels like that. I would not see myself living in Florida. So right before Christmas this year, my wife and I went down to Disney World. And we're at not Universal, sorry. We're at one of the parks, whatever. And it's like 20 Celsius or something like that. And like we're having an ice cream, and one of the ladies that was there, who was local, is looking at us, and she goes like, "How can you have an ice cream in this cold weather?" I'm like, "Holy shit! I mean, 20 Celsius is actually pretty warm for us here. Like not super warm, but like definitely I want an ice cream warm. Like if you haven't had an ice cream in a while, obviously." And like we just started laughing. It's like, holy shit, I mean, yeah. And like the lady was wearing like a big jacket there. I was like, oh gosh. If you saw the weather when we got on the plane from Ottawa, like it was snowing, like there was ice all over the place. It was not a nice weather at all when we left Ottawa. I was like that. I'm going to take 20 degree and I'm going to have an ice cream on it. That's going to be great. Okay, I kind of like how this sword is turning out right now. It's not there. There's a lot more work, obviously. But it is going to be there. Hey, the cold. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? People who are from like warmer climate tend to not like the cold, and people who are from colder climate tend to have an issue with the heat. Like, we're just not used to it, right? Like, I mean, I would take like minus 20 degree every day of the week instead of having like plus 34. Like plus 34 is just killing me. At least for the cold, you can just like wear heavier clothes, and that fixed the issue. Mystical went to Universal on your honeymoon. Yeah, we went there as well. It was technically our honeymoon, but 10 years later, because we didn't have a proper honeymoon when we got married. We went to Harry Potter there. It was interesting. I need to catch up with the chat. Hey, Guelo! It's 95 yesterday? Gosh, Mystical. Yeah, 35 is too warm for me. I literally melt. Dude, going on a cruise out of New Jersey in October. The moment I could go in the pool jump, it was only 15 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Guelo, I feel for you there. I understand. Not 6 feet of snow? 6 feet? Or inches? I'm guessing these are inches, because 6 feet is a lot of fucking snow. When I was in GA, I don't know what state that is. Part of my granddad's... Holy shit. Okay, yeah. Oh, Mystical, born in Toronto. Representing our beautiful country down there. That's good. Lost Torpedo, have a good night, man. Nice to see you here. Inches. Okay, cool. I'm also a pretty big Harry Potter fan. Although my wife would say I'm not a good fan enough. Because, like, we went there and we bought the, like, the wizard robes. And my wife has a thing for Luna. Like her magic wand, and I thought Luna was Gryffindor, and turns out she's not. So my wife has a Luna magic wand, but she has a Gryffindor wizard robe. Okay, I screwed up there. Need to clean this up. Okay, so personal experience here. Cleaning up a mistake works better with synthetic brush. It's the first time I'm actually cleaning up a mistake with a natural hairbrush. And to clean up my mistakes, I prefer synthetic brush. The bristles are stiffer, so they clean up the paint in a nicer way. Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to work much on the under part of the non-metallic metal here. The angle is sketchy and I don't want to waste my life on it, so I'm going to give it a try, but it's going to be a best effort only. As you know, this guy is a commissioning job that essentially is getting a pimped up job. Like the client is expecting a tabletop model and he's getting non-metallic metal gold on his model, so I'd say that's no longer tabletop. So I'm not going to push it too hard because I don't want to waste my whole life on this thing. Okay, going to come back on the shoulder pad here. I'm going to have a look at the chat right after because I'm missing out on what's going on in there. I need to figure out a better way of handling the chat than what I'm doing right now. Because very often I'm missing a whole bunch of chat message. Yeah, that is slowly building up there. I'm going to damp my brush. I'm going to link these two patches of color just a little bit. Okay, let that dry. Let's sit. This looks like an amazing patch of rust right now. But it's great. We're going to gold with that and it's going to work out. Alright, let's catch up with the chat. Can someone remind me when it's going to be 8:30? So I don't run over the whip session. Slithering? Yeah. Made sure I knew what house my lady liked the most. Yeah, well, my wife is not, like, she likes Harry Potter, but she's not, like, a big fan of it. But, like, she likes it enough to be willing to wear a wizard robe at the Harry Potter thing. But, she's not a big fan of it. I don't think she ever read it. Maybe she did. I'm not sure. I'm under the impression that she didn't, but anyway, she'll correct me after the stream if I fucked up. Alright. We have a slow build tonight. I kinda enjoy painting slower on stream like that. Like not trying to go like blazingly fast. It makes that the models are a lot longer to paint on stream, but I feel like, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is actually more enjoyable for you guys. If it's not, you let me know. I'm going to go back at faster paint techniques, but I feel this is more enjoyable for you. Alright, catch up with the chat here. Voldemort wand. That's black one. Self-appointed Ravenclaw. Yeah. One of those better duster one. I don't know. And the toilet brush. A good one. Piece of red and black scales. Can't decide. After the scale on a dragon. Oh gosh, it's a dead dragon, right? Oh, that's a hard one. Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, if you want to get in the whip session that we're going to do at 8 o'clock, at 8:30, sorry, !email, and you send me an email to that address. Absent, I will definitely be messaging you. Sounds good, Mystical. That's also kind of my thing. The company while I paint is kind of the reason why I started this stream. Alright, Absent. We'll talk later. Hey, Guelo! By the way, I just bought, like yesterday or the day before, I just bought my tickets for Sword and Brush. I'm currently mixing the next shade that we're going with off cam here. This is why I'm doing something that you guys can't see. So I bought my tickets 2 days ago for Sword and Brush that's happening in September. And Guelo, do you know what? It turns out that Sword and Brush this year is in your neighborhood, man. I don't know, you're asking too many questions there. Have a look at their website, but Sword and Brush is definitely in your neighborhood this year. Red and black. 5-year-old requested the color. Yep. If a 5-year-old requested red and black, you have to do red and black. Okay, going for the next color here. So Guelo, my next logical question to you is, do you have an extra room? A sorted brush or sorted brush? It's sword, like a sword, like the weapon. Swords and brush. Yeah, sword. Sorry, it's my thick accent here. Oh gosh. Basically your neighbor. You've got a couch? Okay. We might have to talk about that again later, because I'm trying to go low budget on my travels here. I'm planning on Sword and Brush. Actually, the ticket's already bought, so I'm going to Sword and Brush. And I'm also planning on Adepticon this year. So the travel budget is a little bit stretch. I might have to do some convincing with my wife there. Alright, I'm trying to stay gentle on that NMM, but I'm going to have to be a little bit more strong than that, otherwise the effect is not going to show. Like I'm being irrationally careful here. I don't need to be that careful. Maybe I'll try and paint. Yeah, that'd be good, man. That'd be good. But have a look at their website, because the tickets are already up. So technically, you're already good to buy your your access badge, I guess, there or whatever. And if you don't want to, because they were saying that they had limited space. Now I don't know if them saying that they have limited space is just a thing to get people buy their ticket earlier or not, but they were saying that they had limited space. So if you're interested, if I was you, I'll be looking at getting these tickets now. Oh yeah, that is starting to show pretty nicely actually. I'm not disappointed with that so far. I need to do something with that blob of yellow here. Yep, that fixed it. Have to buy a normal ticket? Yeah! Yeah, you have to buy like the ticket event. The ticket for the event, and then you need to buy the ticket for the actual painting competition. I found that thing was a little bit silly, like why pay for a paint competition ticket? Like honestly, I found that was a little bit silly. But yeah. So I got a I got the 3-day ticket there with the paint competition ticket. I might not be there for all the 3 days, but anyway, that's what I got. Oh, I'm off cam. Sorry, guys. We're late. Okay, let's do whip. Let's do whip. Okay, I'm going to cover the palette. Let's have a look at my ugly face for a moment. So, guys, quick shout out for the sponsors who are helping me here for all the giveaways and everything that's happening. That's pretty cool on the stream lately. You can do ! sponsors on the chat there. You'll get information from M3, Game Envy, and Out of the Box. Out of the Box is a local game here, game store here in Ottawa, and they have a cool web store. So if you are in the States, have a look at that because the prices are in Canadian dollar. So even if you are in the States, you actually get a pretty good deal out of that because they have discounted Games Workshop stuff there. M3 Studios and Game Envy also gave me both some discount code for you. So you do !M3 or !Envy to get information on their website and everything, and the discount code and everything. So have a look at that stuff. All right, Guelo, we can pass. Probably won't have anything to really enter. Well, Guelo, you just enter something, and who cares? I mean, we're going to lose together, because there's no way I'm winning anything at that one. Okay, so I'm looking at setting up the whip session here. Won't be super long. Oh, while I'm doing this, side question, and keep in mind that I'm not fully viewing the chat right now. But I was looking at the possibility of doing a Discord server for the stream here. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? Oh, some cool thing. Yeah, there's a lot of cool thing again tonight. Always nice. Horns, I see dragon horns. Oh, I'm having issues again getting the pictures. Let's try it this way. Yep, that's better. Just setting everything up. So we're currently setting up for a whip session. If you want to be part of that whip session, !email, and you simply send me an email there with the pictures that you want to share. We've got stuff from Lightaway, who is working on a kill. Oh my god, this is going to be absolutely beautiful, man. That brass scorpion is going to be absolutely beautiful. Stuff from Guelo. Oh, Guelo, you've been working on pre-shading stuff, right? That was from the class with Sam Lands, am I right? Oh gosh, this is fucking up again. Okay, Guelo, I'm going to show your stuff last because for some reason the pictures are not showing, but I'll get back to it. No worries there. Okay, going back in the chat, and if I'm about to forget Guelo, just shout at me there. Yeah. Okay, so Lightaway want me to be hard on feedback. Sounds good, I can be hard. Yeah. People, yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'll look into setting up a Discord. Okay, so Paint After Dark, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but last stream you had sent me some picture right after the whip session. Guelo. So this was stuff done by Paint After Dark. And Paint After Dark, if you're still there, we still have to schedule your paint session. Lots of orcs going on. I love what you're doing with the skin as usual. Oh, the head and the backpack is actually pretty cool. Like the orc is just moving around with a human head. I love it. Nice dry brush going. Interestingly, dry brush is a technique that I have a hard time with. Like I often screw up when I'm doing it. I love what you did there. This is from Mystical Unicorn Painting. So she's working on a dragon, zombie dragon from Creature Caster. Love what you're doing on the scales. The skin of the dragon is going to be really, really hard to pull off. Like zombie dragon is actually quite a challenge. There's so much going on there. Like you're taking a bravery test there just by doing it. Horns. Love it. Love it. Mystical Unicorn, how long you think you're going to be needing to finish that dragon? Yeah, I love the highlights that you have going on these horns. And have you decided it's going to be red and black? Oh, red and black. Two colors that are really hard to pull off. Guelo, I will not forget your picks. God, no idea. I'm really, yeah. So I am aware of a single other person who's doing a creature caster dragon at the moment. And that person has been at that dragon for, gosh, over 6 months, close to a year actually. But it's the single best dragon I've seen in my life. But he's still on it. Like, he's been at this for close to a year, and he's still going at it. This is getting ridiculous, but the dragon is beautiful. So yeah, I love what you did with the bones there. This looks good, and I'm really excited to see this once it's done. All right, we're moving to Light the Way pictures. So Light the Way is a student of mine. So we're doing private lessons together, and he's currently working on a brass scorpion. So Light the Way is doing some bravery test of his own there, because the buildup of color on that brass scorpion is actually going from black to purple to red. Light the Way, have you done the yellow thing that we were talking about on this thing?
It's all I wanna do.
I think you might have done it, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah? Well, that's normal, man. That's normal. Yellow and red is doing orange. That's normal. Do you still like your build-up, or are you unhappy with it? 'Cause I think it's pretty good. I like it. If you want to bring it back down a little bit. Okay, successful bravery test. Okay, cool. Cool. Going to have a quick look at the other picture. Okay, they're closer. Yeah, no spickling in there, at least that I see. The gradient is pretty good. The purple around obviously is a good choice with the red. I mean, man, this is going to be a good piece. We need to work your metallics. Like right now, this is just base color, but the metallics on this piece is going to make all the difference. Yeah, Guelo, it's funny you're using this expression there, because Light the Way and I, we had a private class right before coming on stream, and that's exactly what I told him. As like, sometimes you need to take a bravery test and roll a 20 on it, and that's exactly what I told him. Like, you have to take that test, otherwise you're not going to learn and get new skills there. So, Light the Way, I honestly think this is beautiful. When the whole scorpion is done, this is going to be incredibly interesting to look at. But we need to work on the metallics, because the metallics are going to make or break that model. So this is beautiful. Oh, side message there. I'm seeing some old whispers from last week when we did the giveaway, and there's Shines0 who won something. If you are in the stream, you sent me your address, but in order to send something across the border, I actually need your name. So please put your name in the whisper there, otherwise you're never getting your prize, man. So please just put your name in there. Yeah, so I like it, and I want to see this thing done. And Light the Way, you better win your store for that paint contest that's coming your way pretty soon. All right, so I'm going to set up for Guelo X picture there. Reason why I did these last is often when I do what I'm about to do, I lose the other pictures, because I need to actually reload my thing. Yeah, and that means I lose all the pictures. So this here is Guelo X. Guelo X, can you talk a little bit about the context in which these pictures were taken and what you guys were doing. Because what I'm getting from this is you were working with pre-shading techniques. I'm just going to load up all the pictures. And I'm going to get back to the first one after. Oh, amazing. The man himself. Okay, let's go back to the chat. This is the first thing. So my understanding is that he had you do black primer and then you took a white primer can and you did a zenithal highlight with the primer can. Is that about correct? Okay. So were all the mini primed by Sam's? Okay, he did the priming. Okay, cool. So basically, what Guelo is describing there is there's a lot of painter who will use a can of white primer to do their light source. So this is what Sam Lens did there. So basically, it's a black undercoat primer, and somewhere over where my mouse is at the moment, he put a can of white primer, and he did a push of white there. So this is meant to guide the painter in showing where the highlights are going to be going on the model. Hey, oh, Paint After Dark. You missed it, but the silly thing is I actually showed your models. Because you had sent me an email. But you know what? Send me an email right now. Like, we're looking at Guelo X picture here, and that is going to take a couple of minutes, so you have time to send your pictures. No worries. Alright, so from there, this is meant to guide the painter in placing their highlights. This is the next step. Okay, so Guelo, base coat and wash. Okay, so were you doing glaze for the base coat or like full on, full color? Yeah, this one here is definitely washed. Full color, okay. So, was he showing you the primer trick for the light source or just to ease up seeing the details on the models? Because some guys also do this technique, but not too much for the light, but very much just because, as you can see, like all the details on the model are now showing up pretty strongly. So, was it for the light source or was it for the detail thing? For the light source? Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see you did work on the boots there. Okay, there was definitely some weathering involved with the blades and everything. Nice light going on this ball here. So, Guelo, now that you're looking at doing light painting with your brush, you probably realize that every round surface or even like a shoulder pad is actually super complicated to light using a brush. Shadow and highlight glazing, yep, that's what is going on here, definitely. The helmet, I very much love what's going on here, and the helmet, I find your glazing work is also pretty good. I personally find this side of the shoulder to be too bright, but I don't have the model in my hand, so I cannot judge here. Yeah, round area is super hard, and Space Marine shoulder pads are actually super hard to paint with that type of techniques, because the shoulder pad is a basically there's two different shapes in it. Like the lower part, like this part of the shoulder pad is a cylinder, and this here is actually a sphere, and mixing these two together is actually super fucking hard. So yeah, that stuff is actually really hard. It's not easy to pull off at all. And this here is a picture of Sam Lens with our man Guelo X. Gosh, I'd love to take a class with this guy. Alright, so Paint After Dark picture just came. Guelo, thanks a lot for sharing this with us. How did you enjoy the class in general? Like, did you have a good time? Okay, so this is Paint After Dark. Many more marrying to sacrifice. Yeah. If you only saw my pile of sacrificial marine. Love the class. Sam is super cool dude. Place was nice. Okay, cool. Gosh, I'd love to take a class with that guy because he's really good painter. So this here is Paint After Dark, work in progress. Doing some work on a piece of terrain. And Paint After Dark right there, I'm going to tell you. You are putting more effort in this piece of terrain than what I myself usually put in a piece of plastic terrain. I love the weathering that you have going under here. I personally think that you should extend that weathering to like the other metallic parts. And you might want to have so like I feel like these panels here, like your painting is beautiful on there, but I think you can do something with the panels. Maybe some graffiti or like anarchy sign is an easy one that can be put on just about everything. That allows stuff to pops. It pops out really nicely. So that's like often I do that on terrain piece. And like the weathering here, if I was you, I would do all over the place. I mean, this is probably what you're doing at the moment. Like this is probably what you have in your hands right now to paint, so I'm taking for granted that that's what you're going to be doing. The pressure gauge are pretty cool. And an orc, good old orc. Oh man, when you're done painting this orc army, you're going to be so over painting orcs. As usual, nice skin. Phasing is cool. Need to clean up that rim a little bit, but after that, it's going to be nice. All right, thanks a lot for sharing. Let's go back to my ugly face for a moment. So, always nice to have people sharing their work in progress here. I'm going to do a quick message for myself. So if you like the stream, please consider subscribing or have a look at the Patreon that I have going. So ! Patreon. I do publish a whole bunch of videos there that I do in between the stream. I do stuff like this week is a video of like bust painting that is going to be published. It's stuff that I don't necessarily do on stream, so that's always interesting to have a look at. And there's still some places available there for private classes, so if you're interested in that stuff, just have a look at my Patreon. So ! Patreon for this. Alright, let's go back at this thing here. So we're working on the non-metallic metal for the sword that's on here. So Paint After Dark, I'm going to sum it up for you. I think you did an absolutely beautiful job. If I was you, I would do a little bit more weathering on that piece of terrain. But other than that, man, good work as usual. Right. Pushing these a little bit, not too much, just a bit. Don't want that to like overpower the whole thing. Alright, this kind of feels good. I'm going to go for a little bit under there. Now this is in full shadow, so I'm not going to spend much time under here. But I do want to get at least a little bit of it going, because it still is slightly visible. Paint After Dark, the orc chant was for your orc that you're painting. We could use some more. Yeah, well, it's super nice. Also, like, I also said that the job you're currently doing on that piece of terrain is actually more evolved than what I usually do on terrain. Like, terrain, I tend to just like wing it. So, good job. Okay. Not too bad. We're going to push this a little bit more now. Cool kill team terrain. Yeah, the kill team terrain is beautiful. Paint After Dark. I'm fully on with Dare. More important thing when you're painting stuff like that is to be able to repeat it. So absolutely, man. Okay, I'm mixing the next shade of yellow here. It's going to be just a little bit of mahogany there, and a lot more yellow. Mahogany is really, really strong. Requires a lot of yellow to be put in for it to even show just a little bit. Mahogany is surprisingly strong color. Alright, this is happening off camera there. I am sorry for this, but it's part of life. Alright. Going to add a little bit of bright ivory to this, because I need to raise the value of this thing a little bit if I want to get it to a brighter effect, because mahogany is like overpowering the yellow quite a bit. I need to raise the value of this just a little bit. Yeah, okay. That's going to be better. Now I need more yellow. This is taking forever. I am sorry for that. Okay, cleaning the brush. It's going to be a bit of a funky yellow, but it is yellow nonetheless. Need to add some water to this thing. I'm going to catch up with the chat here in a second. Damping the brush. Hopefully this looks good. This is a little bit too strong. Damp the brush a little bit more. There was too much paint on my brush for what I was about to do, and I did it. So there's going to be some blending happening around here to make sure keep this thing under control. Alright, not too bad. I think this is in control. I'd say this is in control. There's gonna be some highlights going around this anyway, so it should be good. Can catch up with the chat right now. Hey, Bundyman, how are you doing? Yeah, the Shadow Primus models are actually pretty cool. There's a lot more details on these models than what we're used to for Space Marines, right? What are you painting at the moment? The count. Lady thinks Catan came from Swamp. Oh. Playing Shadow. Yeah, I already saw that one. How can I pass it up? $100 Catan with shipping. Oh, you couldn't. Good thing she doesn't know about your brass scorpion, man. Mystical is keeping count of the mahogany color. I kind of like the darker shade here on the gold. Like, the reason why we have a darker shade is because I screwed up earlier in the NMM process and I didn't extended my base color far enough. So this is a result of a mistake on my part, basically. But I kind of like how it's turning out. Yeah, I kind of like it. Like, I'm good with that. I'm going to go back to a previous color to ease the blending a little bit. Right there. To be blended a little bit. Same here. Smooth out things a little bit. Oh gosh. Smoothing out blends on the small scale. After doing the bust that I'm working on right now. Feels like it's so fucking easy. Like the bust I was doing yesterday is like the complete opposite of this thing. It's like super big. And believe me when I say blending super large surface with a paintbrush is actually extremely hard. Need to do some catch up with the chat here. Loyalist Marine Kit from 2 ShadowSpear bucks. Reinforced Blood Angel. Oh gosh, you got a good thing going there. One London and approved via budgeting. So Kitan, not so much. Yeah. Oh, I was off cam. Oh gosh, sorry. Oh, you know what? Hey, Guelo X, thank you for that host, man. Can we get some beaver in the stream for Guelo? Stream has been silent tonight. Okay, so I readjusted my cam. I changed my cam physical setting like 2 days ago for whatever reason. I don't remember what I was doing, and I forgot to reset its physical angle. Thank you for warning me there. So yeah, this is a game of back and forth with the previous color. Get decent blends going. It's important to let the paint dry properly. Don't let the paint dry. It's not going to work nicely. It's not going to blend nicely. Your blends are going to look like garbage. Alright, so this is slowly getting there. Alright. Go back to previous color here. Smooth out that blend here as well. And I'm going back to our current color. The mahogany thing? Yeah. The problem is to get my next emote, I need 50 subscribers. And 50 subscribers is kind of a lot. Like I'm definitely not even close to that yet. So Bandyman, thanks a lot. Bandyman, am I right saying this is the first time I'm seeing you around this this stream here? And if you've been here before, I'm sorry. As everybody in the stream know, I have a very bad memory for name. Like, this is actually ridiculous. Yeah, I'm not going to get 100 mahogany tonight. That's definitely not happening. Like, unless I go crazy and start just repeating the word, that's definitely not happening tonight. Bandyman, come over from Long War. Okay, cool. All right. Lurking is good. Interestingly, my average viewer is a lurker. On average, the most people who hang around here are in lurking mode. Which I guess is a good thing. Means I'm not that boring. And they're willing to stick around. Okay. I think I'm going for full yellow now. Do I want to go for full yellow just yet? Usually I have paint on our brush. Yeah, that's the thing. And that's perfectly fine. I totally understand that. Like, often when I'm painting myself, I'm watching streams, and from time to time I get on stream that is like someone that I know, and I always feel super bad because when I'm on the stream of someone that I know, like, I like to say hello and say, hey, I'm here, and like, I'm watching your stuff and you're doing a good job and thank you. But very often I go in lurking mode like right away, and I always feel bad because like often I want to chat with the person, but I'm like, I can't chat because I'm actually trying to get a paint job done or something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the lurking mode. Okay, this is going to be a bravery test here. It's going to be very strong, and I don't know how nice or bad it's going to turn out. It might be super fucking bad.
Fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with road. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew.
Okay, not too bad.
We don't need a map.
It's all right. Like as far as gold is concerned, it's not yellowish enough. I think I'm going to come in and I'm going to glaze a really thin coat of yellow once I'm done there. Make sure that I've got some yellow action. Need to catch up with the chat here. You promote the lurk because we're usually painting. Yeah, well, I'm perfectly fine with that. One follower away from 900. Hey, Bundy man. Mystical Unicorn here in the chat is doing a giveaway on her Instagram. She is follower away on Instagram from reaching her 900 goal for her giveaway. She's doing a Creature Caster giveaway, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's Creature Caster, definitely. You should have a look by her profile there and give her that one last missing follow so that I can win a cool Creature Caster model. Mystical Unicorn, if you want to put your link in the chat, please by all means do so. If I can help you reach that level that you're looking for, I'm going to do everything that I can to help you out. You've been helping me so badly lately that I have to help you. How is this sword coming, by the way? I think this is looking like pretty, like this is super shiny gold. Thanks a lot for that, Bundy man, much appreciated. And thanks a lot for your comment a little bit earlier about watching people paint epic stuff. Honestly, I'm always super appreciative of that type of comment. Like, I'm always actually surprised that people are willing to watch my stuff. So getting that type of comments is always a very big motivator for myself. How is this sword looking? Lightsaber light? Yeah, I guess. Free gun would be pleased. Oh, I mean, Mystical, that's for sure. That's a kick-ass giveaway that you're doing there. Like, people are on it. Mystical, I'm curious, how many followers have you won with that giveaway? Cause I was debating doing like Instagram stuff myself, and I never really do Instagram giveaway. I always do Twitch. But I'm curious if they actually work nicely or not. Okay, we're going to push this a little bit more. Cause this is a kick-ass sword. It's time to get serious here. 900. That's good. Thanks a lot, Bundy man. 800 to 900 in one day? Gosh, I never had that type of progression on my Instagram. The best that I had was when I did the Imperial Knight giveaway a while back. And it took like 2 days to get about 100. in progression. So I'm loading some titanium white on there. Not too much. And I'm going to mix in that titanium white with the mix that I was just working on moments ago. Cleaning up that old ass brush. Good job on your progression there. Okay, so mixing some of that titanium white. I don't need a lot, but I need some. With the yellow that we're using just moments ago. That is happening off cam. I am sorry for that. Okay, so I've got a somewhat thick mix of titanium white with that yellow going. I'm going to clean the brush. I've had your account with mini painting for just over a year now. Yeah. Well, 100 follower jump in a single day is quite a feat. Okay, so I'm going to small brush. This is pretty thick paint. Do I want a smaller brush? I feel like I can pull this one out with the brush I have in my hand right now. Paint is dry. Okay. Okay. This is getting the effect that I'm after, so I'm happy. It's good. Go on the sword. I have to work a little bit faster here because this paint is drying right on the tip of my brush. So I'm going to be a little bit negligent on the chat side of things. I kind of want to get that going here. But in a second when I'm done, I'm going to take time to have a look at everything that's going on over in the chat. This is almost pure white, but it's not quite pure white. All right. Question to the stream. Do I need to glaze in some yellow in there to get some yellow hues going? Or do you guys feel like this is good enough and strong enough? Do we need a yellow? Do we need a yellow glaze or do we not need a yellow glaze? I'm tempted to say that this is good enough. But if the stream says yellow glaze, then I'm going yellow glaze. Some highlights while you guys are thinking about that.
I break the chains that you pull away. I feel the fear
Interior of the shoulder pad is always a very stressful moment. I absolutely hate painting highlights on the inside part of a Space Marine shoulder pad. Stress level just goes way up. Like, I feel this is a constant bravery test. Okay, let's have a look at the chat. No glaze? Captain Trips! Is that a new contrast paint? Yeah, contrast paint gets you free non-metallic metal, man. How are you doing, Captain Trips? No glaze? Okay, so everybody says no glaze? Alright, alright. So no glaze. We're just going to keep it as it is. I'm going to do the red part. I tend to do that part of sword red always for whatever reason. So I'm going to do that just now. And that's going to be it for tonight's stream. So I'm going to start with a base of mahogany. Because it's the best color in the world. Oh gosh! You know what? We should do a mahogany meme contest. Pretty good? You stepped back from painting last week? Building a Roman scorpion? Okay, that's pretty cool. My hero entry for ever chosen. I'm debating that myself as well. I have some IDs that I need to chat with a couple of people. I honestly think that the ever chosen paint contest is going to be absolutely fantastic. I very much want to work on that one. Okay, the angle here on the mini is actually pretty sucky. Yeah, I'm not going any further than that. Okay, let that dry for a second. The new Arc Revenant, Autumn team, yeah. What's the yeah, Paint After Dark? Ever Chosen is the new Games Workshop competition that they have going. Okay, so I'm loading some burnt red on the palette. My palette is getting a little bit cramped right now. I need to let that thing dry. It's not dry yet. Need to let that dry for a sec. I just hold the model there. It's gonna take about 30 seconds to dry. Yeah, for my hero, I'm actually thinking about doing Saint Celestine on a display base. Because I think she's a glorious model. I have her, and I've never painted her. So I'm feeling like painting her. Yeah, the Autumn team is pretty cool. Alright, going for burnt red. I'm going pretty strong here. That's because this is not an highlight. This is actually my base color. I'm going to let that dry. I think like a guy like this man deserves a sword with a red handle. I mean, it just screams power, right? Okay, let's let that sit and dry for a sec. While this is drying, I'm going to do a bit of a mix. I'm going to mix some of that burnt red with one of the yellows that we've used previously, and that is going to be used for the highlights on the sword handle. So it's giving me a bit of a pinkish color, but with very strong red hues. I'm going to clean the brush, and I'm going to use a different brush. A little too yellow. Yeah, I mean, you know myself, right? I'm a loyal type guy. Like, heretic scums need to be cleansed from the surface of this planet. Okay, going in for that kind of pink red color. All right, just like that, we have our sword handle. Papa Nurgle is displeased with the stock. Keep stocking the fire until Adepticon. Yeah. Scorpion, Mortarian, and Kitan. Yeah, I mean, gosh. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what we've done tonight. So we finished the brown on the robe. This is going. Well, it's pretty much done. The sword is not quite finished because there's some more detail there. But the main elements of the sword are actually done. I kinda am happy with how the sword is looking at the moment. This is interesting. I do that in a friend game. Scorpion, Mortarian, and Catan. Yeah, with friend like you, man, you don't need the enemy, right? And we worked on the shoulder pad right here. So hopefully I'm able to advance this model a little bit in between streams. Although I do have a bit of a crazy week again this week. But whatever. And in between stream, what I'm working on this week is actually some bust thing that I have going. So the cool thing with the bust I'm showing right now is that this side that's in the shadow is actually painted. Like, this is not the light, this is paint. And that's going on Patreon. So if you want to see that stuff, head over to my Patreon, !Patreon, and you'll be able to have a look at that stuff. Bust supposed to have a monocle? What do you mean, man? What do you mean? Okay, guys, so I'm going to close up the wet palette here. I'm going to start to have a look at who we're going to be raiding. Let's have a look at who is still on at this time. Oh, yeah. I screwed up one of the eyes there. Honestly, whoever said that large scale or larger scale painting was easy is out of their mind. This is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I personally find that it's actually harder to paint larger scale, but I'm not used to it, right? So whatever. Okay, let's have a look at Houndstooth Minis. He's raided me in the past. He is currently live. So we're going to raid Houndstooth Minis. So if you guys can get on that raid, that would be super appreciated. Houndstooth Minis. Here we go. I'm going to launch the raid in a second here. So let's go back to my ugly face for a second. I'm going to stop the playlist. Pause. All right. So going back in the chat for a second. and here. So thanks a lot for watching tonight. I had an absolutely amazing time. I hope that you enjoyed what we were working on, and I hope to see all of you guys next Wednesday. And please jump on that raid. This is how streamers support one another. So by going on that raid, you're actually helping me quite a bit here. So thanks a lot for that, and I'll see all of you on Wednesday. Have a good one, guys.